Hello everyone! So I was able to get one more Easter card done this morning before Easter weekend here. So I'm using an image from the Sweet November Forest Pals set, which was actually kind of meant more as a baby set, but yeah, use stamps however you want. So this little bunny image I thought would be cute for a little Easter card. So I stamped him onto some masking paper. The old brand that I've got, the old Eclipse roll, is no longer available, but in the supplies I'll link to another kind that works just as well. You can also use Post-it notes if you want. I just like actual masking paper because it's got that sticky all over it, so it just stays down easier. And you can always reuse these over and over again. Like when I cut a mask like this, I just store it with the stamps and reuse it like a million times. The ink I'm using, those that'll notice, I'm using the new MFT hybrid ink. They just showed up yesterday, so I'm still experimenting. I'll post a review after I've had enough time to kind of play with it and try different things. But anyway, I stamped the bunny first that I wanted in the front of this little card here. Put the mask over top of him and then stamp the other two bunnies on either side. And then you just peel up the mask and you've got this perfect little row of bunnies. And like I said, I'll store the little mask with the stamp set, so if I ever want to do this again, I've already got a mask cut out. So you can see in the corner of the video here, I've got some doodlebug pattern paper with all these little bunnies on it. That's what inspired this card. So I wanted to color the bunnies white, so I just added a bit of BG quadruple zero Copic marker just to enhance the whiteness, basically. And then all the little centers of the ears and the tummies and all that, I took the inspiration from the pattern paper. So for my first bunny, I did pink, so RV55 and RV17. And then the next one, I did the blues, which was B12 and B16. And then finally the yellow, which was Y06 and Y17. And yeah, really, really simple. Just kept it to the two colors for each one. Went lighter, then added the darker, blended it out with the lighter. Really, really simple. Just a quick, fun little Easter card. So once I was done with the colors, I just wanted to add a tiny bit of shading. Again, not going into too much effort with it. So I just took my C0 and kind of went around the bunnies and added a little bit of ground to them. And then for my card base, standard 4 1/4 by 11-inch card that I scored at the 5.5-inch mark, so standard A2 size card. And then I grabbed a strip of pattern paper from that Doodlebug Springtime pack, and then the bunny paper, of course, and kind of figured out how I wanted it to go on my card. So I just cut down 2 strips of it, and then put adhesive on the top and the bottom of this main panel and adhered the pattern paper. So I adhered the straight paper first, and then for the bottom part, I just lined it up on my grid line so that I got basically the same amount of pattern paper showing on the top and the bottom. That's where my OCD starts coming out. So once I did that, I wanted to add just a little bit more definition to the card. So I grabbed some doodle twine in the blue jean color. I felt like just emphasizing kind of the blue in this, and tie that in a bow. And one thing I do with like twine and ribbon in that, if I don't get it tight enough around my card, and usually I do it on a panel, is I just tighten it a little bit in the back there and tape it down. Rather than untying and retying the bow a million times, you know, to try to get it tight and stay perfectly, it's just easier to tape it because nobody's going to see it, so it always works. So once I was done that, I just cut down a little strip of blue cardstock. This again is some Doodlebug cardstock. And I've got Caitlin sitting in my lap right now, throwing her toys everywhere. So yeah, you're not getting all the attention. So once I was done with all of that, the sentiment is from my Excellent Easter Sentiment set. And I stamped it onto some more Doodlebug cardstock, but I flipped it over because their cardstock's textured. So I stamped it on the smoother side of the cardstock just so it's stamped evenly. And then I ran it through my Big Shot with one of my MFT Circle Stacks dies, and then popped a dimensional on there so it was popped up a little bit, and then grabbed my foam tape to pop everything else up with some dimension. I am running out of foam tape. I just tend to want to use it on everything. So it's one way to kind of dress up a simpler card, is to pop things up on dimensionals, and it just gives it that extra something. So pop that onto my card, and then I trimmed down another piece of that bunny pattern paper and adhered that to the inside of my card. And then I grabbed the companion stamp set, or stamp, from the Excellent Easter Wishes, and again stamped it onto the smoother side of the yellow cardstock, and then just grabbed a larger circle Dynamics and taped that into place so it doesn't shift, and then ran it through my Big Shot. And I felt like I needed a little something more, so I grabbed the bunny stamp again and inked it up with one of my blue Memento inks, but this blue is way too dark in my opinion to kind of go with this lighter blue. So I just stamped it off once onto some scratch paper and then stamped it on the inside of my card, and I felt that went a lot better. So then I just pressed the sentiment into place, and that finishes off the card technically, but I wanted to add a little extra something, so I grabbed my clear Wink of Stella and just filled in the center areas of the bunnies, and that's all there was to it. So there'll be a link below to my blog post with all the supplies used, and I'll see you guys next time.